Welcome to Design of Machine Element 2, second module. Today we'll continue with the problems on springs. We already discussed one of the design problem on helical spring, helical compression spring. So in similar to that one, we'll solve some more problems. Next problem, design a helical spring used in a recoil system so as to absorb 120 Newton meter of energy with a maximum force of 3000 Newton. Assume spring index 8, factor of safety 2. So this is the one more important types of problem. So springs, one of the application problem that used in recoil system of the gun. So in order to absorb energy, because always the spring can be used to absorb energy with the maximum force, and the force is subjected to 3000 Newton. So here assume spring index is given, that is 8, and factor of safety is 2. So similar to previous problem, we can solve this type of problem. First given data, energy is given, that's very important. Energy is 120 Newton meter, is nothing but we need to convert into millimeter, so that's why we have to multiply with the 1000, so that you'll get 120 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. So energy is denoted as U in your data and book. So U is nothing but energy absorbed. So that is one of the important thing. So it's also called resilience of the spring, or work done by the spring. Now C, that is nothing but spring index is the ratio of mean diameter to diameter of the wire. Then maximum force is given, that is 3000 Newton, and factor of safety for the design purpose, so that is given as 2. Now how to proceed with? So we have to assume material, because they have not given any material. So if material is not given, so then always go for high carbon steel as a material. So some of the problems they will not give you the value of shear stress or value of modulus of rigidity. In that case, always go for the material used for spring is made of high carbon steel. So that in your data and book, that is one table as a table from table 11.5. So that is from page number 190, page number 190. So you can find based on there are different material, and along with the different materials they given, such as flat cold roll spring steel, carbon steel wires, alloy and stainless spring steel, non-ferrous spring materials. So different types of materials given. By assuming high carbon steel, so you need to find out elastic limit, that is the yield point of the material, because it is a ductile material. So the value will be sigma yt, not sigma ut. So yt will be 1100 Newton per millimeter square. So this is sigma yt. Always allowable stress that can be calculated, sigma yt divided by FOS, that is nothing but allowable or design stress for the uh, spring material. So that means we have to divide this by factor of safety, then you will get sigma. Once you get sigma allowable, so easily you can calculate shear stress in the material by multiplying 0.5, because always shear stress usually uh, 0.5 times allowable stress. So that's why sigma tau can be written as sigma yt divided by FOS. This is not tau ut. Yeah, this is tau ut divided by FOS. Tau ut can be calculated, so that is 1100 divided by 2, because 50 percentage is 0.5 into 110, and once again you have to divide it by factor of safety, so that is 2. So therefore the shear stress in the spring wire is 275 Newton per millimeter square. And value of modulus of rigidity for the high carbon steel. So you know how to find this one. So that is from beginning of your data and book. So G is equal to 78.5 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per millimeter square. Next step, you need to find out resilience of the spring. So resilience of the spring can be calculated uh, with the help of equation 11.8. So resilience is already given. So resilience is nothing but energy stored or energy absorbed. So that is from equation number 11.8. So based on this you can able to calculate deflection of the spring, because they have given force and energy they have given, so you can calculate the value of deflection. So u equal to 120 into 10 to the power 3 is equal to the value of f, that is 3000 into y divided by 2. So y equal to 80 millimeter. So this is one of the important terms in the design of helical spring. Now you have to design for maximum deflection and maximum load, because the load is given, deflection you just now you found this value. Now with the help of this one you have to follow all the steps what you studied in the last problem. The first one you have to find out wire diameter. So I will go a little fast here onwards, because you already know all the steps. So with the help of shear stress equation, that is from equation number 11.1d. So that equation is tau equal to 8f into d into k divided by pi into d cube. With the help of this equation, we have to find out both diameters, such as coil diameter as well as wire diameter. So but two unknowns you cannot solve this expression. So for that reason we have to use spring index C value, that is d by small letter d, capital letter D divided by small letter d, and we have to make one equation. That equation you have to substitute either in place of capital letter D or in place of small letter d. So therefore tau equal to 8 into f2 into d into k divided by pi into d cube. So I will change maximum load, because this is the general equation. So I will replace f by f2, because they have asked for maximum load. With the help of maximum load, what you got y, so that also you have to replace y becomes y2. So that's nothing but maximum deflection for maximum load. So now spring index you can calculate with the help of this equation, that is 11.2 equation from your data and books, page number 1 from your data and book 169. So value of spring index is given, that is 5. That's nothing but capital letter D divided by small letter d. So that you will get capital letter D as in this problem they have given spring index as this is not 5, this is 8 here, little mistake, print mistake. So 8 equal to d by d, so that capital letter D equal to 8 into small letter d. So you have to find out wall stress correction factor K. So that is from equation number 11.2. So K can be calculated like this, and you will get 1.184. Now we have to substitute all the expression in that shear stress equation, that is 275 is equal to 8 into value of F2, that is 3000 into capital letter D. So you have to write in terms of small letter d, that is 8 into d into 1.184 divided by pi into d cube. So that you will get d as 16.22 So you are not supposed to use 16.22 because you have to use a standard value. So how to select standard values? That is from page number 188 from table 11.2. The standard value becomes 17 millimeter. So you have to use wire diameter as 17 millimeter for the for your further design calculation. Now second important thing, we have to find out mean coil diameter. So mean coil diameter is nothing but capital letter D. So we already made one equation, so that is capital letter D equal to 8 into small letter d, so that 8 into 17, so you'll get 136. So this is the mean diameter of the coil. Now we have to find out what is the active number of coil in the spring. So because always spring consists of active coil as well as whatever the end of the spring. So the spring has two ends, so that attached to some inactive coil, so that we are not supposed to consider. So there will be a different form. So what we discussed in the last class, ground, we have four important types of coil ends, that is plain end, ground end, square or close end, square end, ground end. So these are the four coil ends to form end of the helical spring, so that we call it as end coils or inactive coils. So before that we have to find out how many active coils are there in the spring. So that is with the help of one important equation, that is a deflection equation. So that is from equation number 11.5a. So that is y equal to 8 f into capital letter dq into I divided by g into d to the power 4. So after substitution, y value you calculated this one. Y is nothing but 80 millimeter, f is 3000 Newton, and capital letter D is 136, and I you have to find out. I is nothing but number of active coil divided by 78.5 into 10 to the power 3 into small letter d. The diameter of wire is 17 to the power 4. So I value you will get 9. So 8.68 we have to consider full number. Now how to find out total number of coils? So that is from equation number 11.14d, by considering the type of spring coil end as square end, ground end, so that we have to add 2. So this value will changes if not given any condition in the problem. What is the end coils or type of spring coil ends? So there are four important end coils. If not mentioned, always go for square and ground end from table 11.4 from page number 189, so that you'll get what is the value of inactive coil or end coil. So by considering now the type of spring coil end as square and ground end, so value will be 2. So you have to find out total number of coils. That can be, you have to add to the active number of coil. Always total number of coil will be active coil plus inactive coil, so that you will get value as 11. Now we need to find out solid length of the spring. So that is from again the same table 11.4 from page number 189. So in that for square and ground end, so you have to find out, the equation becomes like this, that is ls equal to, ls is nothing but solid length of the spring, I plus 2 into d is equal to 9 plus 2 into 17, because I is 9, small letter d is 17, so you will get 187. Solid length means when you apply maximum force to the spring will compress such that there is no further movement for the spring, because whatever the two adjacent or adjacent coils that will touch each other, so that there is no any gap between the two coils. So that length we call it as solid length of the spring. And we need to find out free length of the spring. Free length of the spring means when there is no application of force, without application of any force, whatever the length of the spring, so that we consider as free length. We call it as free length of the spring. It is denoted by L naught. So free length is always equal to solid length plus whatever the deflection, that is nothing but actual deflection, plus you have to add what is the uh, clearance between the coils, because that also you have to add. So clearance is denoted by small letter a, and y is the axial deflection, and I plus 2 into d is nothing but solid length of the spring. If you add all this length, so you will get free length of the spring. So before that, again we have to find out y based on standard diameter. You have to use again same equation. So that is 8f into capital letter D cube into I. So now I value you have to substitute. So usually you will get I 8 point something. So now you have to consider higher value 9. So that's why you have to consider y. The initially you got I think around 80 millimeter. Now you are getting 82.87. Now a can be calculated, that is x d into I. So this is standard equation for clearance between the, so that you will get from figure 11.6 from page number 174. So A is nothing but total clearance between working coils. The unit is millimeter, and I is nothing but the number of active coils, and X is called constant. So that constant is based on, is a function of spring index. Based on spring index, we have to refer this figure, that is figure 11.6, so that you can calculate value of x. Once you get the x, you can substitute here, so that you will get a value. So based on spring index is 8, that is value of C. So based on C, x value is 0.175, that is from this figure 11.6. So you have to multiply D, that is 7, and I as 9, so that you will get 26.775 millimeter. So now you have to add all the length, so that you will get free length of the spring. So 9 plus 2 into 17 plus 82.87 plus 26.775 is equal to 296.64. So this is the free length of the spring. Now next we have to find out what is the pitch. So pitch you will get from same table, that is 11.4 based on square and ground end. The equation is L naught minus 2D divided by I. So that we have to use L naught is nothing but 296.64 minus 2 into 17 divided by 9. So you'll get pitch value. So unit I forgot to write here. So unit is millimeter. So that is 29.18 millimeter. So that is the pitch of the spring. Next we have to find out required spring rate. So that is from equation number 11.7a. The equation is F divided by Y. So force per deflection is nothing but spring rate. We also call it as stiffness of the spring. So it is denoted by F naught here. So F is nothing but 3000, and Y is nothing but 80. So that you will get 37.5 Newton per millimeter. So this is the required spring rate. Now we have to find out actual spring rate. So that is with the help of this equation, that is 11.7a. So that is nothing but F naught equal to d to the power 4 into g divided by 8 into I into d cube. So that you will get F naught as 36.2 Newton per millimeter. So this is the actual spring rate. So this is one of the important type of problem. Next problem, that is a railway wagon weighing 50 kilonewton and moving at the speed of 8 kilometer per hour has to be stopped by 4 buffer spring, in which the maximum compression allowed is 220 millimeter. Find the number of turns or coil in each spring of the mean diameter 150 millimeter. The diameter of the spring wire is 25 millimeter. Take G equal to 84 GPa. Also find the shear stress. So we have to find out here shear stress. Most of the values is given. So there will be a force spring. That is one of the important condition. So we have to design it for single spring. Uh, Here it is given. First we need to find out energy, because they have given uh, with this the railway wagon weighing 50 kilonewton. So it's moving with the speed of 8 kilometer per hour. So this is one of the important data. We'll see this problem. Uh, Given data, that is F equal to 50 into 10 to the power 3 Newton, and velocity they are given in terms of kilometer per hour. So you have to convert velocity, always you have to keep in meter per second. So 8 kilometer per hour, so you can convert into meter per second, so that you will get 2.22 meter per second. So number of spring, so there are 4 spring, and whatever the deflection, so that is y equal to 220 millimeter, and spring of mean diameter, so this is nothing but diameter of the spring, mean diameter of the spring, or we call it as coil diameter, so that is nothing but capital letter D 150, and diameter of the spring wire is small letter d, so that is 25 millimeter, and value of modulus of rigidity, that is G equal to 84 GPa. So you have to convert into Newton per millimeter square. It is nothing but 84 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per millimeter square. First we need to find out what is the kinetic energy from equation number 2.25a in your data handbook. So with the help of this equation, because they have given whatever the load, weight they have given, as well as speed they are given. So it is moving means it possesses kinetic energy. So we have to find out first kinetic energy of the railway wagon, so that we have to consider for by considering 4 spring, because it's stopped by 4 spring. So it is whatever the energy, so that will be distributed. So that's why we have to find out for 4 spring. So W value is given, that is 50 into 10 to the power 3. So W is nothing but value of F, both are same, and V is 2.22 square divided by 2G, so that you will get 12.56 into 10 to the power 6 Newton millimeter. So that is the kinetic energy for buffer spring, because whatever it will absorb. Now energy is stored by each spring, because there are 4 spring, you have to consider it for single spring. So because whatever the design you have to do it for only one spring you have to design. So that's why kinetic energy of the one of the spring is you have to divide it by 4, because there are 4 spring. 12.56 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 4, so that you will get 3125 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. Now energy absorbed by each spring is given by equation number 11.8. So this energy, whatever the energy, so that will absorb by this spring. So that's why you have to consider this equation, U equal to F into Y divided by 2. So that's therefore 3125 into 10 to the power 3 is equal to F into 220 divided by 2. So that you will get the value of F as 28,409 Newton. So this much force you will get. Now once you get the value of F, so that you can design the spring for maximum deflection and maximum load. So number of active coil you can find out based on the deflection. So that is one of the important question they ask, because no need of designing here, because all the values they are given, such as mean diameter of coil, then diameter of wire, so that you can calculate spring index, that is capital letter C also you can calculate. So they ask to find out only number of active coils, so that can be calculated with the help of equation 11.5a. So you have to substitute 220 equal to 8 into 28 409 into 150 cube into I divided by 84,000 into 25 to the power 4. So that I you will get 9.41. So you have to consider next higher value, so that is 10. Now you have to find out total number of coils you have to add by considering square end, ground end. So that is the end coils. For that end coils will be 2, so that's why you have to add 2 to the number of active coil, because total number of coil is always number of active coil plus number of inactive coil. So that's why 10 plus 2 is 12. So that is total number of coils in the spring. Now you have to find out one of the important thing, that is shear stress, that can be calculated with the help of equation 11.1d. So that is tau equal to 8 F into D into K divided by pi into dq. So before finding this one, we have to find out K. For that we have to find out first C. C is nothing but spring index, that is d by d. So you'll get from equation number 11.2 C. So spring index is not 5, it is 8. Here mistake in the print mistake. This is 8. Therefore spring index equal to 150 divided by 25. So you'll get 6. That is the value of C. And capital letter D is nothing but 8 into D. So now we can substitute K value, because once you get the C become 6. So that you will get K value as 1.2525. So that is from equation number 11.2a. So now we have to find out what is the shear stress of the spring wire. So that is 8 into 28,409 into 150 into 1.25 divided by pi into 25 cube. So we'll get shear stress as 869.85 Newton per millimeter square. So this is one of the problems, because they have given kinetic energy. So after stopping, so that all the energies that will be absorbed by spring. So there are 4 spring. So while designing we have to consider only one spring for the design. So that is one of the important note you have to follow. Now next problem, that is one of the important problems on leaf spring, one more type of spring. So a locomotive spring has an overall length of 1100 millimeter and sustain a load of 75 kilonewton at its center. The spring has 3 full length leaves and 15 graduated leaves with a center band of 100 millimeter. All the leaves are stresses at 0.4 GPa when fully loaded. The ratio of total spring depth to width is 2. Determine width and thickness of the leaves. Second one, nipping. The third one, what load exerted on the band after the spring is assembled. So this is one of the important problem. You see what are the important data they are given. So the load, sustained load of leaf spring is subjected to load at its center. So that value is given, so is denoted by capital letter F, that is 75 into 10 to the power 3 Newton. So there will be 2 leaf always in the leaf spring. One is full length leaves, and another one is graduated length leaves. It's also called graduated leaves. So the total leaf is nothing but graduated leaf plus full length leaf. So the full length leaf is always denoted as I suffix f. F indicates full length. Similarly, I suffix g. G indicates graduated leaf. So total number you have to add I f plus I g, so that the total number of leaves is nothing but I. It is denoted by small letter I. So with the center band of 100 millimeter, so LB, it is denoted by LB. It's nothing but 100 millimeter. So whatever the overall length of the leaf spring, so that is denoted by capital letter L. So that is 1100 millimeter, and all the leaves are stresses at 0.4 GPa when fully loaded. So it is nothing but sigma F is denoted by sigma F. It indicates stresses in the leaves, that is equal to 0.4 GPa. So you have to convert into megapascal. So that's why 0.4 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per millimeter square, or 0.4 into 10 to the power 3 megapascal. To find out what is the initial gap between the full length leaf and the graduated length, graduated leaves, that is nothing but capital letter C. C is nothing but nipping. Sorry, it is not mentioned by capital. It is denoted by small letter C. The small letter C is nothing but initial gap between the full length and graduated leaves with the pre-stress. For that, Young's modulus is required, so that we have to assume based on the spring material by assuming material as steel. So that's why the value will be 206.8 into 10 to the power 3 megapascal MPa. So this value you will get in the table, that is from table beginning of your data handbook. I think table 1.1. Now how to start this problem. So they asked to find out width and thickness of leaves. Second one, nipping. Third one, what load is exerted on the band after spring is assembled. What is the amount of load is exerted on the band after the spring is assembled. And here one more data is given, that is very important. The ratio of total spring depth to width is given. So that is denoted by I into H divided by B or B dash. So that is equal to 2. That value is very important to find out what is the width and thickness of the spring. First we need to find out what is the effective length of the spring. So that is leaf spring. So that can be calculated with the help of this equation, L minus LB. So this is nothing but band length divided by 2. L minus LB divided by 2. So L is the length. So you have to minus from overall length, that is band length, you have to minus from overall length, so that you will get effective length. So you can refer figure 11.12. So that is leaf spring. So what do you mean by L? So it is distance from one of the U bolt to I of the spring. So that you will get effective length as 500 millimeter. Now you have to find out total number of leaves. So that is nothing denoted by small letter I. So I equal to Ig plus If, that is graduated leaf plus full length leaves. So there are 15 graduated leaves and 3 full length leaves, so that the total value will be 18. So one more thing, so they have given the ratio of height to thickness, that ratio is given. So that is I into H divided by B dash is equal to 2. Now you substitute I value as 18 18 into h divided by b dash, so that we will get equation for b dash equal to 9 into h. So width and thickness of the leaf, so that we can calculate for a laminated leaf spring from equation number 11.32c, because whatever the maximum stress in the spring with the full length leaf pre-stress, so that is given, because always the maximum stress that will induce at the full length leaves, so that's why that is equal to when it is pre-stress, that value is equal to what is the stress in the graduated leaf. So therefore sigma f equal to sigma g, so that can be calculated with the help of equation 11.32c from your data and book from page number 182. So that is 3 into f into l divided by I into b dash into h square. So now you have to substitute all the values, because stress in full length leaves, that is given 0.4 into 10 to the power 3 is equal to 3. The f value is 75 into 10 to the power 3 into 500. So divided by 18 into 9 into h square. So h value as 12 millimeter. So that is what is the value of h is 12 millimeter, and b dash is nothing but 9 into h is equal to 108 millimeter. Now we have to find out second question, so that is nipping. So nipping is nothing but small gap between the two leaves, that is full length leaf and graduated leaves, for equalizing the stress. So that's why that is denoted by small letter c, so that can be calculated with the help of equation number 11.32a. so that equation is c equal to f into l cube divided by I into b dash into e into h cube. So you have to substitute all the value, that is f equal to 75 into 10 over 3 into 500 cube divided by 18 into 108 into 206.8 into 10 over 3, because e value is 206.8 into 10 over 3 and h value is 12 millimeter. So after substitution, so at initial gap between the full length and graduated leaves, you will get 13.5 millimeter. So that is the nothing but nipping. Whatever the gap between the full length leaf and graduated leaf is called nipping. Nipping means you need to find out value of small letter c. So that is from equation number 11.32a from page number 182. Now third question, what load is exerted on the band after spring is assembled? So once you assemble with the help of center clip, so what is the load exerted on the band? So that we have to find out. So that is with the help of equation number 11.32 b. So that is it's not 32a, it is 11.32 b. So FB is nothing but load on the clipboards to close the initial gap. In order to close that, whatever the gap is nothing but nipping. So what is the force exerted on the band after spring is assembled? So that is given by this expression, that is 11.32. So it is given by FB equal to Ig into If into F divided by I into 2 into Ig plus 3 into If. So if you substitute value, so you will get load exerted on the band, it is denoted by F suffix B. So Ig value is 15 and If value, that is full length leaf, is 3 and F value is 75 into 10 over 3 divided by 18 into 2 into 15 plus 3 into 3. So that you will get value as 4807.7 Newton, 4807.7 Newton. So this is the load on the clipboard in order to close the initial gap So this is about one of the important problem in the design of leaf spring. So most of the problem is similar. You need to find out the value of b, similarly value of h, b dash and h, along with the whatever the stresses that may be maximum stress in the spring with the full length leaf when it is pre-stressed, as well as you have to find out nipping means you have to find out value of c, that is the initial gap between the full length leaves and graduated leaves. And one more thing, you need to find out some of the length, that is effective length of the spring. So that can be calculated as L minus LB divided by 2. And one more thing we have to find out here, the force acting on the band. So these are the possibility of questions. So I hope you understood all the concept with respect to design of leaf spring as well as design of spring. And this is the last class for spring, and in next class onwards we'll start with the new module that is related to clutches and brakes, that is the remaining portion of your fourth module will continue in the next class. Thank you.